I'm not the best at anything. I'm not gifted. I'm just driven. And it's all about trying to share that message with people.
No, stop cursing your future. Sometimes the enemy doesn't have to defeat us. We defeat ourselves. Pay attention to what you're saying. Are you blessing your life or are you cursing it?
Don't you think that your happiness is probably elevated by the amount of pain that you've gone through?
100%.
So the amount of suffering that you understand, the amount of pain that you've gone through makes you appreciate the happiness and the beautiful moments with much more intensity.
That's what weak people miss about my story. Weak people hear this soft kid, oh my God, he must be miserable, oh my God, what the hell's wrong with him? You're missing the fucking story. You're not listening to the story, man. Look what I overcame. If that doesn't put some badge of honor tattooed in your fucking brain for the rest of your life, you can die today talking to Joe Rogan, you're missing the story, man. Am I happy? What the fuck do you think? Don't misunderstand the passion in which I speak for not being intensely happy. Happiest person in the world. But I'm not done. So I'm not gonna speak to you like, oh man, everything is great. No, I have a lot more shit to do. A lot more shit to do.
What this is, in the same use of the word that you used, the warrior's mentality, the warrior's life.
Right.
This is the way that you can keep balanced and sane,
right,
and keep a good grip on who you are.
Listen, don't give up. I know this sounds simple, but don't give up. If you go to bed with it and you wake up with it and you can't shake it, you go get a job and that dream is still in the back of your head. You're working for somebody else, but that dream is still in the back of your head. You're getting up every morning, 5 in the morning, going on somebody else's job. But let me tell you something. Honor that person that you're working for. Listen, because when you're faithful over someone else's, God will give you your own. So make sure you honor the person that you're working for. But at the same time, don't give up. The mantra at my studio is a place where even dreams believe. Because when I think about Joseph, he went through so much before he got into his promise. He was in jail. He got all these things happen to him. But when it got really bad and he gave up or wanted to give up, the dream reminded him that he can go on. So if it's in you and you can't shake it, and you dream about it, and when you want to walk away from it, you still dream, that's God telling you to keep going. And if I can tell you anything else, please keep going. There are people whose lives and destiny are tied into you. Just think, had you stopped, all of these people, where would we be going to worship and hear a positive message? Do you understand what I mean? So don't stop. Keep going, no matter what anybody says, you are worth it. And here's the thing about worthy, get to worthy. Whatever you do, get to worthy. What does that mean? Understand that you are worth it. You deserve the good things. If God said it, you deserve it. And he did. His thoughts of you are pure, and he wants to give you a hope. You better grab me right now, because I'm getting ready to go somewhere on this thing right here.
Go ahead, it's yours.
But just don't give up. If I can tell you anything, don't give up.
There has to be some people on this planet Earth who have my mentality. As gross as it is to some people, and as far off as it is and not understood, there has to be some people like me on this planet Earth. Has to be some warriors out there that are able to take this mindset and do something with it. So that right there, once you are able to look at your life and realize that all these bad things are actually the ultimate training ground for what you're going to, encounter in life, you start looking at your past very differently. I was angry once I was able to uncover the rug and look at all these different shells that I collected over the years and say, wow, that fucked me up. And that one fucked me up even worse than that one. And shit, that one was real bad. And because what happens is when you start to collect all these shells, and these shells are bad things of your life, and you put them in your nice treasure chest and you hide them, because it reminds you of where you're at, but you don't want to visit them all the time. When I started visiting these shells, I was like, my God, man, it was a tough way to go. But now looking back on it, man, I don't have any more shells. So now you have to learn to, now what's your passion?
Yeah.
So now my passion is still trying to find out what is left, what is more. Can I be driven without the anger? And I can be. I've only dissected 44 years of my life. While I'm still living, I'm still in my live autopsy. So You know, right now, until I'm dead, I'm still examining human potential. How far can the mind go? How far can we go as human beings? So that's, you know, I call myself the Stephen Hawking of the mind. You know, he was obsessed with everything he ever dove into. You know, the guy couldn't walk or anything, you know, so he was like, the mind, that's one thing he didn't want to lose. And I became obsessed with it because it's the one thing that controlled me. So I became obsessed with this, what is this fucking thing up here that just has me on a tightrope and just walks me into all these horrible decisions I make, and it makes me feel so pathetic and weak and insignificant and dumb and stupid and everything. I gotta get control of this thing. But it's amazing that once you get control of that thing, how far you can go. I'm big into visualization and also self-talk. But also, like, where do I want to be in life? Where do I see myself? And then I start making these plans on how I'm gonna get there. And I don't deviate from that plan.
You are where you are today in part because of what you've been saying about yourself. Words are like seeds. When you speak something out, you give life to what you're saying. If you continue to say it, eventually that can become a reality. Whether you realize it or not, you are prophesying your future. And this is great when we're saying things like, I'm blessed, direction of your words. But too many people go around prophesying just the opposite. I never get any good breaks. I'll never get back in shape. Business is slow. I'll probably get laid off. Flu season is here. I always get it. They don't realize they are prophesying defeat. It's just like they're calling in bad breaks, mediocrity, lack. The scripture says we will eat the fruit of our words. You are planting seeds when you talk. At some point, you're going to eat that fruit. My challenge is make sure you're planting the right kind of seeds. If you want apples, you have to sow apple seeds. If you want oranges, you can't plant cactus seeds, poison ivy seeds, mushroom seeds. You're going to reap fruit from the exact seeds that you've been sowing. In other words, you can't talk negative and expect to live a positive life. You can't talk defeat and expect to have victory. You can't talk lack, not enough, can't afford it, never get ahead, and expect to have abundance. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. If you don't like what you're seeing, start sowing some different seeds. Instead of saying, I'll never get well, Joel. This sickness has been in my family for 3 generations. No, let me give you the right seeds. God is restoring health back into me.
Get to where you want to go, the amount of pain involved, I'm not saying physical, I'm not saying you got to break yourself off, the amount of mental pain of how many times you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go is going to be, there's going to be more times you do something that you don't want to do than you are going to want to do. And that's your new norm. That's your new norm. So then it's like breathing. And then once you do this over and over and over again, it becomes like breathing. I don't want to live this lifestyle, but to get to the other side of this, I have to. So if you really want it, you realize what trying is and what trying is not.
See, in life, there are always 2 voices vying for your attention. The voice of faith and the voice of defeat. You'll hear a voice saying, like I did, problem's too big. It's not going to work out. Just accept it. You'll be tempted to worry, to be negative, to complain. But if you listen carefully, you'll hear another voice, the voice of faith, saying God has a way. Favor is coming. Healing is coming. Breakthroughs are coming. One voice will tell you, you've reached your limits. You've gone as far as you can. You don't have what it takes. The other voice, you are well able. You can do all things through Christ. Your best days are still in front of you. Now here's the beauty. You get to choose which voice comes to life. The way you do it is by what you speak. When you verbalize that thought, you're giving it the right to come to pass. If you go around saying, the problem's too big, I'll never get well, you are agreeing with the wrong voice.
I'm not saying to put yourself down. I'm saying listen to the truth. And the truth isn't in the 20%. The truth is in this other part of your brain saying, look, man, you're wasting a bunch of percentage here. We have 80 more percent that we're not tapping into, because in this other 80% is suffering, pain, failure, self-doubt, darkness, and then a whole bunch of light. But to get to this light, you gotta go through all of this shit. So a lot of us know that. We know I can get over here, but over here, man, this is much better, because I gotta go through this journey that is not fun. This from 20 to 100%, this shit in between is not fun. So we decide to live over here. So everybody goes, how do you do that? You know exactly how to do that. You know exactly, it's not a magic trick. There's nothing I talk about in that book that's a magic trick. It's all back down to a very primitive mindset of we just have to do. I can slowly, hopefully make people from motivated to driven, because motivation is crap. It's shit. People right now, maybe listen to this shit, they'll be motivated to go run. If it's cold somewhere where they're at, a lot of motherfuckers will shut that door, go back inside. That's motivation. It comes and go as how you feel. If you and your wife are good, if you and your kids are good, if you're good at work, you move from motivation to driven to obsessed. And I want people to realize, once you get to this portion over here, the driven, obsessed part, you're unstoppable.
And if I can leave you with anything, I want to leave you with this. Hear me clearly when I say this. There are people who come in your life sometimes to be there for a season. They weren't meant to be there always. Sometimes we find ourselves hooked up with people that we think are there for a lifetime, but they were only supposed to be there for a season. There are people who come in your life like boosters for a rocket. If you ever watch a rocket go into space, the boosters fall off when it reaches a certain altitude. Some people are not equipped to handle the altitudes that you're going to. So don't be afraid when they fall off. They're not bad people. They just couldn't go where you're going. God bless you, Lakewood. Climb and maintain. Climb and maintain. Climb and maintain. Thank you so much. God bless you.